Hello, and welcome to the virtual prep for the College of Biological Sciences multiple mini interviews session. My name is Forrest McMillan, and I serve as the Assistant Director for Career Development for CBS, and I'll have my colleague introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Casey Johnson. I work in employer engagement for CBS.
All right, and we're going to dive right in. So first, we wanted to highlight what we call the guiding narrative for the College of Biological Sciences Student Services Office. I'm going to read it because we do find this to just be critically important to the way that we do our work and the why that we do our work. I know you can read, but just in case you prefer to listen, here we go. We are active listeners and cultural navigators, guiding students through the systems of campus in the greater metropolitan area. We are committed to being socially aware, racially just, and civically engaged advocates for ourselves and our students. Through connection and collaboration, we create opportunities for students to meet their personal, academic, and professional goals. We mentor and teach lifelong skills for our students to become critical thinkers and scientific leaders in their communities. All right.
Here are a few expectations that we have for you as participants at CBS and in the MMI workshop and in an actual MMI interview. So we expect that you will engage openly and actively. We offer a space to practice, and in that space, it's okay to express uncertainty or feel like you have the wrong answer. And so we're here to help you practice, and that's okay to feel like you might have it wrong or you're uncertain about something. We expect that you'll be supportive of your peers who are also here practicing, or if you are in a small group during your MMI and you have a chance to give feedback, we expect that you'll be helpful and give constructive feedback. So when you first registered for either this event or looking at the description of this video, there's a link to the AAMC Association of American Medical Colleges Experiences, Attributes, and Metric Model. So this model is used to show the multi-layered and holistic approach which admissions committee members are viewing applicants. So you can use this structure along with the AAMC core competencies to structure your answers in the MMI. So this is a list of the AAMC core competencies for entering medical students. The competencies are divided into 3 sections: pre-professional competencies, thinking and reasoning competencies, and science competencies. Competitive applicants are able to demonstrate these skills, the knowledge, and the abilities described in these areas. We will be using these competencies as a framework for evaluating MMI responses in a practice session. One competency that we would like to highlight is the cultural competence. Events in the past 5 months have shed an even more direct light on the need to understand concepts of equity, inclusion, and racial justice. With this consideration, you need to be prepared to answer questions about these ideals in every interview. Be sure to think about cultural awareness, growth, and learning when answering. Use examples of when you were allowed an opportunity to learn something new, or you sought out an opportunity to learn something new that will make you a better doctor.
Great. All right. So, what even is an MMI or the multiple mini interviews? Sometimes people say the acronym, sometimes they say the full thing. But digging a little bit deeper into what that actually means, the MMI is an opportunity for you to demonstrate some different skill sets than might be present in other types of interviews. And so, first of those is interpersonal and interpersonal characteristics. So, your ability to kind of actually engage with other people very directly, communication skills, so your ability to, once you have thought about kind of the aspects of interpersonal and intrapersonal communication or interaction, how you actually let those words come out of your mouth. Ethical decision making, so highlighting kind of the structures that support the way you make decisions and think through things, as well as the MMI lets the application committee and members gain a lot more insight into your skills and competencies as a candidate that goes past what is on your applications. All right. So we also want to highlight what the MMIs or multiple mini interviews are not. So it is not a test of your knowledge or a particular healthcare procedure or a policy. It is a chance for you to look at or have the committee look at your ability to reflect and connect your experiences to AAMC Competencies. It's not a back and forth dialogue or a friendly conversation. What it is a time for you to have well thought out responses to a prompt that you're given. It also is not an opportunity for you to highlight your professional experiences, but instead, it is a time for you, for the committee, to learn more about you than what is present on your resume. Okay, so the virtual MMI, so this year things will be a bit different than they might have been in years past. And so if you've done an MMI prep event in the past, it's great that you're doing it this year to kind of focus on how things might be different given the pandemic and everything else. And so what we're going to do is focus on the specifics from the University of Minnesota Medical School. So the information we have from U of M Medical School process is current as of the end of August. So if updates come, we'll be sure to get those to you too. And you'll get more information from the U of M or any other school about the interview process when you can receive or accept an interview offer. So the full interview cycle will be virtual. Even if kind of current public health recommendations do change, the interview cycle will be held from October to March. MMIs will be hosted through Zoom using breakout rooms. The MMI session will actually last 2.5 hours. That day will include a welcome, an introduction to the process, a Q&A portion as well that starts before the interviews. Every breakout room will have a different scenario. There will not be any group or simulation scenarios, as you might have heard there were before. The scenarios are unique to each of the breakout rooms, and candidates will rotate to different breakout rooms to answer each of the scenarios. You'll read through the scenario at the beginning of the session, and then again, you will have the scenario read to you when you get into the actual breakout room itself. As a reminder, this information is specific to the University of Minnesota Medical School. Like many things in the past few months, the process might shift after we have recorded this and after the end of August. And it also may be different from school to school. So make sure that you read through the materials given to you by any school and confirm any questions you may have with an admissions representative.
So here's an example of an MMI scenario, and I'll read it to you like you would if you were going into one of those breakout rooms. Due to the shortage of physicians in many rural communities, it has been suggested that medical programs give preference to students who are willing to commit a 2 or 3 year tenure in an underserved area upon graduation. Consider the broad implications of this policy for health and healthcare costs. For example, do you think the approach will be effective? At what expense? Discuss this issue with the interviewer. So like we mentioned, the MMI isn't looking for your knowledge of a specific healthcare process or procedure, and it also isn't a back and forth dialogue, but instead you're answering this specific prompt. And you'll want to show your thought process and focus on demonstrating these different competencies that we've listed. So this could include the service orientation, cultural competencies, and critical thinking. For this MMI example scenario, we're going to do a little role play. It's not going to be comprehensive of what an actual MMI answer would look like, but just a short example of it. So I'm going to ask the question to Forrest. I'm going to read it to them, and then they'll give their answer like they would in an MMI. Consider a mistake that you have made in the past that had a significant impact on another person. How did you handle the situation? What did you do differently now? And what would you do differently now and why? So at this time, the student in the interview would have 2 minutes to think about their answer.
2 minutes pass. Okay, so when I was earlier in undergrad, some friends and I were working to start a pre-med student organization that was specifically for LGBTQIA plus students like myself, and we just wanted to have that kind of support inherent to our community and to our goals for the future. We spent a lot of time structuring the bylaws and finding an advisor semester and getting everything going. But unfortunately, I had also a summer internship, and I've got so focused on my internship that I really, to be honest, just let that fall to the wayside and got focused on other things. The impact was that we weren't able to have that organization that year. We weren't able to enact any of the plans. A lot of folks had thought that they're going to use that to really kind of speak in an example like when we're in right now and talk about it in interviews like this. And unfortunately, those plans all kind of got set back. What do I do differently? Is just hold myself more accountable, maybe ask for accountability partners that could help keep me on track and help keep me focused and make sure that we are able to achieve the goals we wanted to.
Great, thank you. So you can see from this example and from Forrest's answer that they touched on a few of these different competencies, some of the teamwork, the ethical responsibility to self and others, capacity for improvement, critical thinking, and depending on your answer, you could have touched on other competencies that you might have in your own example.
All right. So, what we also wanted to do is just highlight some other great additional resources that could really help you, not only in preparation for MMIs, but with any kind of part of your process here. And so, if you do meet with a CBS career coach, anyone on the team, we can help you with things such as your personal statement, helping with the resume that you wouldn't be reciting in your MMI, and helping you to go over your cover letter that you may have written. We certainly could also help with exploration of pre-health, because there are a lot of different pathways, of course, within the health professions. Medical school is an amazing route, and there are others to consider as well. So we can help you with that piece. We can certainly help you with creating a personal timeline for applying to and making sure you're on the path to medical school that you want to be, as well as helping you learn how to become the most competitive applicant that you can, just based on kind of all the great pieces of yourself and your experiences. So that is what we have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.